Good morning. Welcome back to the Old Shed Workshop. I'm Mike. If it's your first time here, I invite you to please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for future videos. Today, I'm working on a floating shelf, and I'm using hardware from Rockler. They call it the Heavy Duty Blind Shelf Support. And this is what the hardware looks like. So what I'm going to do is reposition the camera and explain how I went about getting this all prepared. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get a video of the final mounting in position, but I'll take some photos. I'm doing this for a friend, and I'm not sure they'd want me to be recording in their house. So I'll at least get some photos of the finished project. So let's go. This is the beautiful piece of canary wood left over from a countertop slab that I made for the same people I'm making the floating shelf for. This leftover piece was about 45 inches long, and I've cut it down to 36 inches. I already have it set up, clamped to my bench to show you how I went about setting up the hardware for the floating shelf. So I'm going to show you that first, and then afterwards I'll set it up and show you how I got this perfect edge. So the first thing I did was I cut the piece straight. You can see the live edge. And I wanted to try this beautiful jig that I got from Rockler. This is a self-centering jig to cut these mortises in the edge of a workpiece. So what I did was, once I cut the piece straight, I wanted to practice first and make sure it was going to work okay. So I made these practice cuts. Now, when I finish showing this portion of the job, I'll go back and show you how I cut this perfect line. As you can see here, you can't even see where the line is. I did this with a skill saw. This piece comes off, and this is what I ended up with for mounting the hardware. This is what the hardware looks like. This piece goes into the shelf. And the small piece goes into the wall. When the pieces are bolted together, this is how they go into the shelf. You have to make sure you go deep enough to accommodate not only the wall side and the shelf side, but also the screws. You have to make sure you're deep enough in the shelf to accommodate those three thicknesses. And there it is, nice and flush. So I had to use, this is the kit from Rockler for the router attachment, the jig, worth every penny. And you also need a 9/16 brad point bit to make this hole. All right, to accommodate the piece that goes down into the shelf. I'll put links to these items below in the description. I'd appreciate it if you do end up wanting to buy any of these things. If you use my link as an Amazon affiliate, I get a small commission, maybe 1% or something, and it doesn't cost you anything. So let me show you how these go together and how they work. I just need to reposition the camera. The directions that come with this compact router mortise centering base, as Rockler calls it, suggest that you use a plunge router. So they have a good diagram that comes with it that'll fit applications for several different routers I just happen to have the Bosch Colt PR20 EV SPK, and it works beautiful on this plunge router. I know many of you are going to say, I see you have a router bit on there that has a bearing on it. You don't need a bearing. You're absolutely correct. It's the only 3/4 inch bit that I have. So I decided to try it and see if I could get deep enough without hitting the bearing. And luckily, I was able to get deep enough with the jig that I didn't have the bearing getting in the way. So the way this works, I'm hoping you can see it. There's 2 pins that go in the bottom of the base plate. And the pins go on the edges of the workpiece. So it's self-centering. And then the first pass I made, I only went down about 1/16 of an inch so that I just barely cut the wood. Like you can see on this piece that I just barely went in. And then I dropped the depth a little bit more and did it in stages. I couldn't really record routing with the respirator on and air protection and the noise from the router. That's why I'm just trying to explain the process of how it worked. So I'll show you how these go together and how they work. This piece, see if make sure I'm in front of the camera. This piece is going to go into the wall. Okay. This piece goes into the shelf and they screw together. So you end up with a piece that looks like this. You set the piece for the wall into the stud, and then you set the other piece to the depth that you need in the shelf. So in order to get these, in my particular situation, you can see here that I have my layout lines, both sides. I laid out the centers. Sorry for the moving camera. It's hard to try to get the camera everywhere at the same time. There's my square line at 32 inches, and this side at 32 inches. So I know I'm going to hit 2 studs dead on. I have a 36-inch shelf. So I had to modify the piece that's going to go into the wall to be able to fit out to the edge of the shelf. So what I did was I cut a piece off. You can see this end. I cut that off this end, and I drilled a new hole. That'll be for the mounting hole to go into the wall. Okay. So I'll set up and show you how I cut that beautiful straight line. As you can see, that's a beautiful surface. I have not sanded this. That's exactly the way it cut. So let me set that up and show you how I did that. This is the system I use to cut this straight line. This is called TrueTrack. The beauty of this is I was able to make a track saw without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's very easy to set up. It comes with a base plate. It comes with very clear directions. It has a 0 clearance stop on this side, and when you set up, you end up making a 0 clearance stop on this side. So this piece, you can see how smooth that is. This piece came off of here. When you strike a line, you set up, after this is all set up, this is actually cut. This piece is cut, to fit whatever skill saw you have. So once you're set up, you strike a line and you put this edge right on the line that you want, like any other track saw. Same idea, the track doesn't move and the saw fits right on like that. It's beautiful. It works great. This is not the first job I used it on, but you can see how beautiful the cut is. So I know I had kind of the cart before the horse, but since I already had the shelf clamped up to the bench, I wanted to show you that part of the project first. And now that that's all complete, I didn't mind taking it back out of the clamps to set it up to show you how I cut it. So, again, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. You can go over to my website, oldshedworkshop.com. I have tools and supplies on there that I use, consumables and other jigs and tools that I use in the shop. And projects. There's a gallery of projects I've made in the shop that you can go over and take a look at. Again, if you are going to purchase any of these items that I put in the links below, I'd appreciate it if you use my link to get over to Amazon, because as an Amazon affiliate, I do get a small commission, maybe 1% or so, and it doesn't cost you anything. That comes directly from Amazon. Here's just a little video of the floating shelf in place. Came out really nice. And just for continuity, this is the piece that shelf was part of. It was cut off the end. So it's all in the same room. Thanks for watching.